Hey digital friends, awesome to see you today, and we have a really neat episode. Maybe. We came over to find JB. There's an Ostrich annual exam happening today. How neat is that? And your Zoo EDventures crew today is going to go see them. Steve's in front of the camera for now. Chelsea's behind the camera for now.
Good morning, everybody.
But you said you've got some things you need to take care of, so hopefully Leslie can catch up with us in a little bit. Is that right? Is that what you said? Okay. And I see Kelly, keeper tech, vet tech. I did it last time. Last time we did this, she said, I don't mind being a keeper. It's a compliment. But vet tech, because that's what she is now, Kelly is in here, and we're going to go see what she's doing. Vet tech Kelly. Hi. We came over to find JB. We heard there's an annual exam going on with Ostrich.
There is.
Are you prepping for that? We didn't see JB, but are you prepping for that?
I am prepping.
Can we kind of sneak a look to see what you're doing?
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is for Red's annual exam. I'm prepping for Andrea.
Okay.
I'm going to be going with JB to do that exam. And I'm just making sure that there's everything we would possibly need for blood draw, anything that we would need, for getting a heart rate,
right.
a physical exam, making sure everything is all set for her.
Cool. So this is kind of a...
Get her vaccine ready.
I think JB mentioned these. When we remember on you were there, we did the vet tour. This is kind of like a grab and go kind of kit.
Yeah, it's become really, really helpful. So we don't have to. It's really a great way to just be kind of lazy in prepping because it's already prepped for you.
It's already prepped. Nothing wrong with that.
To waste time.
It tells me that it's, to me, sounds like they're already
That's
prepped,
right.
and you just got to make sure everything is in there.
Everything is in there.
Do you think we didn't get to connect with JB? You think it'd be okay if we went over to Ostrich and saw the exam?
Oh yeah, I don't think that should be a problem.
That sounds good. That wasn't part of the plan, but we didn't get to talk. We didn't get to confirm. So
she's a good bird.
Awesome.
She shouldn't be bothered by it.
Good deal. Sounds awesome. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for letting us take a peek in the kit.
Yeah.
Does it have a name?
It's our field grip. We have
I
two
see
of
it
them.
now.
That way, if there's two things going on, we have
You
two
can go
kits and go in different directions.
Field grip. Yeah. Who knew? Thank you, Keeper Kelly. And I think that JB told us they were going to do a blood draw.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to come back, hopefully, if everything goes well, and see you later.
Yes, you probably will.
Awesome.
Andrea's going to take the blood there and then make smears there.
Oh, so okay.
Mm-hmm. And then she'll bring that blood back and then I'll process it here in the hospital.
Awesome. That'd be so much fun. Thanks, Keeper. I did it again. Let's do it again, ready? Thanks, Vet Tech Kelly. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Let's go see if everything's okay at Ostrich. You going? All right, so can you see the wing up? So Vet Tech Andrea is holding the wing up. And one of our third-year residents here at the zoo is actually drawing the blood. So that's that teamwork we were talking about earlier. So you guys know, Keeper Dennis knows me pretty well, and he said, can you use your inside voice today, please? I said, sure, I can try. We're lucky enough to have JB here. You guys have met Dr. Minter before.
How's it going, everybody?
What kind of, is this kind of a normal procedure as far as working with the keepers and stuff?
So working with the keepers, we are always trying to get those animals, like I said, I mentioned before, is getting them to participate in their own health care. So the relationship that the keepers have with this animal, obviously she's over there. Redbird is just taking fruit from Jason right now, and she's focused on him. And you can see right now, Andrea's pulled that wing up.
Yep.
And what Kira's trying to do right now, there's a blood vessel that runs right up in the inside of that wing.
Oh, okay.
And it's visual. You can see it.
You can see it?
You can see it. So she's going to try to insert that needle while the ostrich is focused on Jason.
Right.
She's getting reinforced to stand still.
And Kira's going to do a poke.
So she's gonna get this poke, and then again, Andrea explained that we've got it on the butterfly. It's got a little bit of an extension on the setup, which means if the bird moves around, we don't lose the blood. And you can see
Andrea's going.
She's already got it.
She's got the blood already.
Blood's gone. We're done.
So I don't know, digital friends, have you noticed, Jason actually moved Redbird so Leslie could get a better shot. So that was really nice of Jason to do, and that's Kira. And you said she's a resident.
She's our resident. Yeah, so she's one of our residents. So the North Carolina Zoo, along with the aquariums along the coast And in the North Carolina State College of Veterinary Medicine, we run a residency program,
Neat.
which basically means that veterinarians that decide they want to go into zoo medicine,
Right.
or maybe another specialty, basically do additional training.
And we're able to kind of,
And we are part of that program, or we train veterinarians that want to move on to become zoo veterinarians.
gotcha, that's cool.
So we've got the blood. That's step one. Now,
So what's Andrea doing now?
if Andrea now is processing the blood. Remember, she
So
just
she's making those smears. That's what you called it, a smear?
Yep, she's making those blood smears that she just
Okay.
talked about, and she's put a little bit of that blood into a specialized tube so it doesn't clot.
Oh,
And then we're going to take that blood back, and they're going to stain the smear, and they're going to look at that under the microscope.
okay.
And then some of the unclotted blood they're going to submit for a biochemistry test.
So that's what we're going to go back and watch a little bit
Yeah,
later on. Okay,
definitely.
nice. So what would Kira be doing now? Kira, it looks like Jason's still kind of keeping her.
So she's probably holding off from the vessel right now to make sure it doesn't bleed.
Oh.
Just like you get a Band-Aid when you get
Absolutely.
your blood drawn, we got to hold off. If you put a Band-Aid on that ostrich, she'd grab it and eat it within a couple seconds.
Nice.
So now what's going to happen is Kira's going to have to, she's got a moving target.
Oh,
So she's going to have to go around. She's going to go around, try to do a physical exam. She's going to probably listen to the chest.
so
listen
real
to the heart.
physical like they would do
Just
with
like
us?
you would.
Like the heart and all that stuff?
And we do things multiple different ways. Oftentimes you'll see animals that are under anesthesia. And those are the animals that are too dangerous for us to handle.
Sure.
Like, we're not going to do this with a lion or a polar bear. Because
that's a good idea.
those animals will probably turn around and try to eat you.
Sure.
So some of these animals we can get, again, we're not going to be able to do a full physical and like do range of motion in her legs, but we can listen to her heart, listen to her lungs. And there's Redbird just picking up some shiny
And
objects.
they asked me to be quiet? Let me comment to Jason. Hey, Jason, just so you can, you're doing it. It's fantastic to see this. This is really cool to see all that, moving her around and having Kira be able to do what she needed to, and Andrea, great job.
So she's feeling musculature right now. She's going to palpate the ceiling, looking in the eyes, trying to get a look inside of her mouth, and then she also gets a vaccine today.
Oh, she gets another shot.
She got a blood draw, but she also is going to get
Good
a
luck
vaccine
with
today.
that.
It's this time of the year. All the birds, like a lot of the birds that we have here on park, get a West Nile vaccine.
Okay.
We also give these guys a vaccine for what we call the encephalitis viruses.
Oh, that's what she was pulling up. Andrea was
So
pulling up.
there's several different ones, and ratites, which is kind of what this bird falls into, the
Okay.
group taxa, are pretty susceptible to those viruses. So again, we're going to vaccinate her for those.
I love the teamwork. A little conversation, a little chat.
There's a lot of talking back and forth,
Yes, there
basically
is.
to keep.
That's about the best I can get her to just hold still for you.
And you see how that basically,
crazy cool.
yeah. Because look at her, look at her right now. She's like, what's in the bucket? I jokingly say that ostriches don't have a lot of neurons, and one of them's always focused on food.
Gotcha.
But they're great birds, and they train really, really well.
Yeah, this is really cool. And this, I mean, like you said, this is a bird, if I'm not mistaken, their eye is bigger than their brain.
It is. That is a true statement.
So to have the work.
And I don't know if Leslie can get a shot of that foot, but that foot can kick and kill a lion.
Really? A
Yeah,
lion?
Yeah. So, and they're quick runners, they're fast. So for us to be in that same space with her is really impressive.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Look at her holding still. And that's the cue. The cue was the whistle.
Yeah, the
Hold
cue.
still.
Basically, Jason is communicating with her on a level that she recognizes
Right.
this means for me to hold my head still. And that gives us an opportunity to look in the
To
eye.
look in the eye.
Because again, if not, it's a moving target.
Yeah, you got it.
It's bouncing back and forth trying to get
Yeah, sure.
into that eye.
That was so neat. And that whistle you heard, guys, is kind of, or friends, is like Jason saying, hold your head up and stay still. But that's communicated through that whistle. That's the command. Or the request even, I should say. Command to make it sound like she's got to do it,
Yeah.
but it's more of a request.
No,
and
honestly,
then
all of
she
our-
chooses to keep her head up like that.
All of our animals have choice and control.
Yeah.
They have the ability. If she didn't want to train today, we wouldn't force her. We would back off and we would come back another day. So she has the ability to walk away from this training session at any point in the process. And all of our animals, we basically give them that choice and control. What does she want to do? If she doesn't want to participate, we'll back off.
Sure. And And does some of that come from a conversation between you and the vet techs and the keepers? This is what we'd like to get accomplished. This is how we can do it best.
Yep.
What can you do, keeper, with us to make this work safely for the animal and for us?
Oftentimes in the beginning of the year, I will talk with all the supervisors
Do
and
you really?
curators and say, okay, out of this year, this is what I want from this animal. Now, if I have to do it under anesthesia, we'll make that a process. If it can be done through behavioral training, we'll go.
better.
We'll push for that more so than doing an anesthesia.
Okay.
So we want to get as much as we possibly can with the animal cooperating with us.
Okay, nice. That's awesome. Well, congratulations, Jason. That was really neat.
You guys get what you need?
Absolutely. We got more than we needed. That was fantastic. Great job. Great job. Thank you so much for letting us come and visit with you all today. That was great. No, sorry. So, vet tech Andrea, we need to make sure you're going to make a smear now, and this is with the ostrich's blood, right?
Yes. So we just put a drop of blood on the slide.
It's literally a drop of blood.
Yep. Because we just need to see some of the cells so we can examine their features. We can count how many white blood cells versus red blood cells there are.
And you send that blood away? Somebody else does that?
Nope, we look at that in-house.
We do that here?
Yep, it's part of the vet tech's job.
Oh, so this is what we're going to be able to come back and see you guys participating in.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Okay, cool.
So you can see on the slide,
Yeah.
it kind of spreads the blood from a thick drop all the way out to this little tiny feathered edge.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the part that we're going to look at under the microscope.
We should have bought a white piece of paper.
Let me see it. All right. And that's all there is to it.
And that's all there is. And that you do that, we can look at that blood here at the zoo.
Yep.
And we do this for any animal during an annual exam
Yep.
if we're drawing blood.
We do all of our
So
in-house
cool.
blood work.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's a fun job. For sure.
Absolutely, good deal.
Yep.
And to think that's all done here, that is so amazing. That you guys can do it. And then we have the residency, we have JB, we've got all sorts of really cool resources. And the vet techs kind of make all that happen, I'm going to say.
Well, we definitely play a role in it.
There you go. Make sure everybody stays on task and
Yes.
gets the information to the
Yep.
keepers.
We all work together as part of a team and
Nice.
do what's best for the animals.
And you guys will then share the results of that with the keepers and the other folks that need to know?
Yep.
Fantastic, good deal. Andrea, thank you so much. I'll let you pack up and
All right.
we'll be ready to take off.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we're back at the vet hospital. We've been here before. Remember, we took the tour with JB, but today we have somebody a little bit more special. We have Vet Tech Kelly with us today. So thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
And your role. You guys do everything.
We do
So what's your
all
role
the things.
today? You do all the
We
you
do all the things.
things.
Yeah, we
So what's your role today? We met Andrea. She was actually with the ostrich.
Right.
And she said she was bringing blood and smears back to you.
Right. So you guys just looked at Red Ostrich, whose name
Yes.
that's her name. She had her annual, so they took blood, and Andrea came back to the lab, gave me the blood. So
Okay.
what I'm gonna do is analyze it. So
I see.
the first thing I'm gonna do
Cool.
is this.
That
As I
equipment-
throw it across the room.
Is that ostrich blood?
This is
the
ostrich
blood that we just
blood.
saw Andrea and Kira?
Kira, yep.
Kira and Jason worked together to get.
Yes. So there's a little bit in here. This tube has a special anti-coagulant in it
Oh, so it
that
stays
keeps the
liquid.
blood from clotting.
Nice.
So we rock it a little bit.
Kind of like what's in the vampire's
Yeah.
saliva.
I have this fancy little pipette syringe thing.
And you're just gonna pipe out some blood.
Pipette some blood out.
And that's ostrich blood with that little bit of an anti-coagulant in it.
Yes.
And you're gonna put it in this really neat flying saucer thing.
I know, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I'm gonna fill it, make sure that it hits those. There's two little arrows. You might not be able to see, but I fill it until it hits those arrows.
Okay, we'll trust you on that one.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. And what is this machine?
So this is a little in-house blood chemistry machine.
In-house blood chemistry. It's
Yes.
closing the drawer. It's nice of it to tell us.
It does, I know.
Does
Just in case you didn't know.
Does everybody remember when we had like old computers and
Yes.
we had to, put CDs
Listen.
in them?
Yeah.
It sounds like when we used to burn CDs.
I'm gonna verify her number, her ID number.
So I noticed it was other. It wasn't one of the animals that are always there.
I know, right?
And you're saying this is her number within the zoo. We called, we heard that her name was Redbird, but she has that specific number
Correct.
to differentiate her from any other ostrich that's here or has been here.
Right.
Okay, good.
Now you can see that it says Avian Reptilian Profile Plus. So
Yes.
and reptiles have very different blood than us mammals.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank goodness.
So if we took blood today on an elephant instead of an ostrich, I would be running a different kind of route, or one for mammals, or basically equine horses is what we use for elephants.
Sure.
But like chimpanzee, we would use another kind of like for another specific mammal. So we have two different mammal ones, and then we have avian, bird, or reptile blood, because they have their red blood cells have nuclei. So they
I
look
read about that.
they're very different, and they're very differently shaped than people.
Oh, they're not like the flying saucery.
Right.
things.
So this chemistry won't be able to read. Like if I put chimpanzee blood in here, it would yell at me, and it would say,
really?
"Nope, can't read that."
Can't do that. Now that's interesting. I love a smart machine.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of cool.
Very smart machine.
So that's one of the differences, by the way, in mammals, which is kind of cool. Mammal blood is different from all the other animals. We had a thing on classification a while back. We didn't get that far into the science of it, but that's another way to think the difference.
Right.
And you've got another task to do, so how long will that take?
That takes about 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
So I like to run that first and let it run
Sure.
while I do everything else.
Makes sense?
So a chemistry is what that's running is basically, it just tests the function of the organs of the animal. So how healthy her organs are. So,
Interesting.
It'll tell me kidney values, it'll tell me liver values, it'll tell me electrolytes.
So the
any of
blood
that
tells
stuff.
you all that?
All that stuff. So we can really assess, and it's her annual exam. So
Mm-hmm.
just like you would go to the doctor and get your blood drawn, that's what they're also testing. Just to see
Oh,
if your
sure.
organs are doing what they're supposed to do.
Nice. So what's next?
So next is I've taken slides here that Andrea made.
Yeah, we
while
watched
she
her make
took
some of
slides.
those. Yeah, that's cool.
So that's what these are. This one looks a little darker because I stained it with this staining.
To pull other things out from the cells?
Yeah, so what this does is it brings the blood cells out. So
I don't
now
see
when
any
I look
blood
at
cells.
this under the microscope, I can easily find blood cells
Oh.
because there's proteins on the blood cells that'll pop out when you stain it. So
Nice.
it'll make me be able to read it, and that's what I'm doing is I'm going to do what we call a CBC or
CBC?
CBC. It's a complete blood count.
Oh,
So when you hear
CBC. Okay, that makes sense.
right, so when you hear anybody say CBC Chem, that's just short for complete blood cell count, and then chemistry or chem.
And the chem.
That's what that is. So this allows us to, I'll be able to count blood cells, so I'll be able to really count how many white blood cells she has, what kinds of white blood cells she has.
Oh, there's a difference?
Yes.
Because white blood cells tell us a little bit about infection, tell us a little bit about some challenges.
Inflammation, it can tell us about infection, it can tell us like different kinds of white blood cells are kind of, they do have different jobs in the immune system. So if we have an animal that has a really high count of 1, that gives us a really good idea of what might be going on
I see. So you can
systemically.
target, for a solution.
Yeah, we could figure out what's wrong.
Nice.
Or give us some clues as to what's wrong. We can also look
Well
at
said.
platelets.
Okay.
So that's a kind of blood cell that helps clot the blood. So
Yeah.
if you have really low platelets, that could be a problem. If you have a lot of platelets, that could also be
The
some
same
issues.
thing. Yeah.
Right. So that's also a good to know. So I'm just going to take a peek at that.
Good. Well, we'll let you get out of the way. We'll get out of keeper. Out of Vet Tech Kelly's way. So you're saying
Been a
keeper.
keeper before.
I have been a keeper.
Oh, okay.
It's a good job.
So now you're going to be doing some counts, and I see some really cool equipment here, and then it's a simple clicker.
Yeah, this is my favorite because it makes a really fun noise when you so this basically this tells me what kind of white blood cells I'm looking at. So once I do all the count, it'll bing when I reach 100.
Oh, really?
And that's my favorite part.
Success!
So
Vet Tech
yeah,
Kelly's like, yes!
exactly. So I have this form here, and I'll fill out when I'm done how many of each cell that I found.
Okay.
And so I'll give that to the doctors, and they will assess from there.
Do you go in with any kind of expectations, or is this, hey, we're going to get what we get?
That's probably the coolest part about this job is what's normal for an ostrich might be abnormal for a crow.
Really? Oh,
Might
wow.
be abnormal for a snake or whatever. So it takes a lot of practice to do this and be able to recognize that cell looks weird, or that cell looks weird, but it's normal
But
for
it's
this
normal.
species.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's definitely something to take note of. And then I'll make note of like the shape of the cells. Like like I said, is there anything that looks weird? Like that's a white blood cell, but that doesn't look like a normal white blood cell. Why is it weird? So
and one last question before, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt.
No, you're fine.
So one last question before we let you get started, and we're going to watch this says magic happen. Are you looking at the whole slide, or is it just kind of the fringes? Is it as a certain number, a certain percentage of the slide, or kind of whatever is there?
So when you make a blood slide, there's a really specific area on the blood slide.
Is that where the edges that Andrea mentioned that a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, it's called the counting area.
Oh, it is called the counting area.
So
nice.
you have like the buffered edge, which is like the very edge, and then you have like a clumped red blood cell. So like basically when you make a slide, you're basically pushing cells along the slide so that eventually they become like a monolayer of cells and they're all clumped together. So I wouldn't do my count right there
so much
because there'd be like so many blood cells that I'd be like, I can't even read this.
Okay.
So I just go along the slide until I can just see like if there's like a monolayer, meaning there's just one like cell next to each other instead of on top of each other. Does that make sense?
Absolutely it does.
So
to me anyway. I hope the digital friends, I hope you think it makes sense.
So that's the area that I end up counting.
Let's see how this works. Put it all together, Kelly. Make it happen.
I will.
Here she goes. I'll come on the other side of Kelly so Leslie can get closer. Remember, this is taped. Should have mentioned that earlier. So we weren't able to do it all at once. So it's nice that Vet Tech Kelly was able to allow us to come in and watch some of the things that she's doing.
I have a good layer here.
Okay, so you found your mono layer, your single layer.
Exactly, and I'm gonna increase the focus so I can get a closer look.
I see. Okay. Magic clicker and the magic buttons.
I know there's 2 different clickers here. It's my favorite part.
All right.
So this right here is a little bit more general in terms of my counting, what I have in my left hand here. This is just, I'm counting just all the white blood cells I see.
All of
I'm
them.
not clarifying what's what. I'm just counting how many I see, and then I'm going to do 10 different fields. So once I count all the white blood cells in this field, I'm going to move my microscope slide a little bit up, get a new field in my field division, and then count again, and I just keep track of until I get to 10.
Yeah, I see your right hand is keeping track.
Yes.
You're multi-talented here.
Yeah,
for sure.
I learned that I have the memory of a goldfish, so I need to like basically keep a count on my right hand, and then I'll just forget what field I'm on, and then I have to start over.
I love that. So right now you are focusing on white blood cells.
Just white blood cells right now.
And you guys wanted to be the glamorousness, right, of being a vet or a vet tech. This is definitely a huge part of the job. It's coming back and analyzing, and you're looking at the animal, looking at the depth of the animal. So yeah, the going out and working with the animals is fantastic. Surgeries are interesting. We don't want to do them, but surgeries are interesting. But this is a huge chunk of the job. Being here, looking through a microscope and getting counts and getting that truly microscopic, the small parts of things that really tell the vets and the vet techs what they're doing, how the animal's doing.
And there have been times when we do an annual and the animal looks fine. They're eating, they look normal, they're behaving normal, and then we look at their blood and we're like, oh, there's something going on with this animal.
And that's to be expected, I guess, because you think about animals that are in their natural homes, they don't want to show a weakness. They don't want to show that they're sick. They don't want to show that they're hurt. So they're going to mask that as much as possible. And Dr. Minter mentioned that a little bit. Remember, he kind of equated the vet hospital to a pediatrician's hospital because the child can only say it hurts, it's here, or they're crying, or they're upset. They're not able to give you any kind of depth of information. And it seems kind of the same way with the animals. They're going to mask or hide a lot of those things that are making them feel bad.
Absolutely. And that's what keeps them alive in the wild.
Yeah, well said. It does. It keeps them alive. That's right, Kelly. Alrighty, so Vet Tech Kelly is done with her count, and she has a number, and she'll share that number with in a second. But remember, she said that she does specific different types of white blood cells, and that's what she's looking at now. And she's going to click this little button. You see that Leslie's showing you Kelly's left hand. She'll be keeping track of the different types of blood cells, different types of white blood cells that she sees on the slide. And that she did tell us that the slide looks normal. And she'll go a little bit more into that in a sec. I do want to tell you, you might have noticed that Kelly has her mask kind of pulled down. I know a lot of you are concerned about the mask. Sometimes you've told us about the mask. We want to make sure you guys are aware that she kind of has to do that so she can do her job. If she has it up too much, it begins to blur and kind of fuzz some of the optics. So she has to pull that down just to make sure she can do her job well and right. And you can imagine how important it is to be able to see those blood cells and get that number correct. Rock-a-bye blood on the rocker, keeping it liquid, don't let it coagulate. But that's exactly what's happening here.
Can you just sing that to me?
Absolutely. Keeper Kelly. Tech Kelly asked me to sing it to her. So that's exactly what's happening here. So there's actually a machine that is helping, because even though there's an anti-coagulant in the blood so it doesn't clot, this machine is moving the blood back and forth to ensure that it doesn't clot so they can continue to work with it as they need. Rock-a-bye baby.
92.
Keeper Kelly said this is one of the most exciting parts.
Vet Tech Kelly.
Vet Tech Kelly.
Okay, I don't mind being a keeper. I think that's a compliment.
Well, we were just talking to Keeper Kelly,
Yes.
so.
Oh, well, there are a lot of Kellys
Yeah.
here.
94. 95, 96.
Digital guess. This is the key. This is it. This is it.
98.
Yay! We made it to 100! So Leslie was able to get a shot through the microscope on the camera. And that's what Vet Tech Kelly is looking at. Now, I can't tell you what is what in there. And she had to run to a meeting. They're always talking and sharing information here. So I believe the round ones are the red blood cells, because remember they're nucleated in birds. So those of you that are into this, in mammals you wouldn't see the nucleus in the red blood cell, but in birds and other animals you do see a nucleus. I'm going to guess, total guess, that the other ones might be some form of platelet or white blood cell, but that's what Kelly is counting and looking at when she's looking through the microscope at the blood. Nice shot, Leslie. Nice job.
It took us quite a while to get this shot, so I'm very happy with it now. Pretty neat. That is pretty neat.
How interesting, right? Some amazing stuff that happens right here at the North Carolina Zoo. Your North Carolina Zoo. Some amazing happenings. Leslie, did you know all that happened at that time?
That was pretty cool to be that close, to see how it works, and then to see the partnerships between the vet tech, the vet, the students that were here, the interns, and
That's
the
a great point.
keepers.
Yeah. So many things happening, and it's all going on right here at the zoo. I found it really cool that the blood work is done right here. And how about the little fancy push button thing too? That's kind of cool. Kelly
was really excited about those.
she was trying to get to 100, wasn't she? And she made it. But anyway, thought we'd wrap up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's episode on Zoo EDventures about the ostrich annual exam. Hearing from JB, seeing Andrea doing her, it was really a fun episode. So thank you so much for tuning in. Check back again soon. Zoo EDventures team is here. Remember, we're on Wednesdays now at 10 o'clock. Your Zoo EDventures team today, Steve was in front of the camera, Leslie was behind.
Hey everyone!
Thank you so much for being here, Leslie. We missed Chelsea today, but she'll be back. Y'all stay safe. We hope to see you at the zoo soon. Bye, y'all.